Good Fatherhood. It's Rob Bill Jr. here, the Uncommon Dad, with another episode of Uncommon, the Dad Work Podcast Instagram Live experience. As you can see me lighting some Palo Santo here to light the fire which we congregate around like warriors of old. And we're going to go live with Mr. Ben Barker today. There he is popping in here. And we're going to talk about what does it actually entail to become, what is an alpha dad? What does it entail to become the alpha dad? Or if you want to be one for your community, because I don't know that you'll be able to take Ben's title if you want to be a alpha dad as well. You know, my intention is to always bring you the most powerful insights, wisdom, tools, and practices so that you can become uncommon, a cycle-breaking, legacy-making husband, father, man in your life for your wife and your kids. And that is it. Let's get Ben in here. Ben, welcome, brother.
What's up, bro? Hey, I gotta ask, what are you burning?
What am I burning? This is Palo Santo. It's a cleanser, so most people know sage. Sage is like a space cleanser, but also if you want to ward off some evil spirits, you burn some sage. Palo Santo's like that. I like the woodiness of the Palo Santo. So anytime I start a call with a brother, or anytime we go into our brotherhood calls, we start with burning, because I like to create the illusion that we're around a fire together. What could be more manly than that?
Am I right?
So welcome, man. I'm stoked
Yeah,
to have
dude.
you
Thanks.
here.
Thanks for having me on. I was gonna tell you, I know your wife had the baby. Like as that's the hard part is it's hard for a woman. But also, bro, you're looking exceptionally jacked. So good on you for bringing a third kid in and staying on top of your fitness.
Yeah, I will receive that that compliment from you. Thank you. Yeah, I really think that there's nothing more important that I can do than stay fit, because the fitter that I am, the better I can support her and the better I can support the kids. And at the same time, I run my own business. And what excuse could I come up with that's good enough to not be able to take care of myself or my kids or run my business? So it's work, but it's so worth it, man. But
Let's
this
go.
is about you, man. This is about you. It's been 2 years since we chatted, and we were just talking about exactly that. What we were just talking about was balance. I know you've picked up more responsibilities lately, and things have been transitioning over there. My question is for you, as you've taken on more responsibilities and more work, how do you, Alpha Dad, find time to take care of yourself and then also be a good husband, be a good father? How do you find time? What's going on? And how are you carving out time for this stuff?
Man, so we've had to make some intentional cuts to things that we were doing or how we were spending our time in order to make time for what's most important. I've had some personal goals, just like wanting to earn more money for my family, wanting to provide better, but also still wanting to be a present husband and father. And I think any dad out there is going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. Man, and like some of the first things that we decided to cut because, I took on some new work and just it kind of like started coming off the rails, right? Just not enough time for everything. And like, I'm not going to skip working out. That's like a non-negotiable for me. So like my wife and I almost had to sit down and we're like, what are we going to cut? Number one thing is like time on my phone. If it's not work and providing for my family, and that's kind of been hard for my kids to understand because there's times that I'm on my phone, like during work hours that I'm working, you know what I'm saying? I'm not scrolling on Instagram. But one of the first things that I had to audit was the amount of time I was spending on my phone, and just bam, we cut it. And then recently my wife and we canceled Netflix and Disney Plus just because we were like, like we enjoy watching movies and stuff, but there's so many options out there. And so we just decided having less options was better. And, at the end of this summer, we talked to our kids, we're like, I don't think at the end of this summer, like, man, I wish I would have watched more television. It's going to be, I wish we would have spent more time outside. I wish we would have gone to the pool more. I wish we would have taken the dog on more walks. And so those were just a couple easy things that we cut out. It's like, I'm going to kind of fill that time with work, with family, with fitness and friends. And if it doesn't make me a better husband, father, or provider, I'm just not going to do it right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it brings to the forefront a couple of things. Is one, you have to know what your intention is, which is, okay, I want to provide more for my family and still remain a great husband and very connected husband and father. So we have to have that vision. And then also you brought up something else, which was the phone audit. What did you find when you did the phone audit? I was just doing dopamine modules for my guys today, and we talk all about that. What did you find when you were doing the phone audit? And what do you look for?
Man, I heard a guy. So there's a guy who's in real estate. His name's like Bearded Brandon. He used to be on the Bigger Pockets podcast, and I heard him say something like his goal in life is for his kids to never see him on his phone. And I was like, boy, that's like, I'm not sure that that's possible, but it at least made me realize that I needed to think about it a little bit, and that when my kids walk up to me, even if I'm working, that my first reaction is going to be I'm going to set my phone face down and be like, hey, buddy, I need about 15 more minutes. I'm working right now, but what do you got? What you have to say is more important. And I listen. I'm like, hey, let me finish what I'm doing, and then we're going to do that. And then another way to audit it is if you're not working and you're just on your phone scrolling, that's an automatic. You put the phone down and you go do what your kid was asking you to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you catch yourself. I catch myself sometimes. I definitely do. I think the average man is on his phone like 3.5 hours a day, and this is not us who work in this space where we're on Instagram. And 2.5 hours of that time is on social media.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the stats for like our teenage boys, and they're on for 5 hours a day. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. I don't even I did the math the other day, but I did the math, and that's thousands of hours.
Yep.
And if you're paid $30 an hour for that time, I think that's almost $40,000 a year of time that you're wasting.
That's wild.
And that puts it in perspective. We're like $40,000. What could I do with my kids? What kind of memories could I make with that time? How fit could I be if I just had an extra $40,000? And that puts it in perspective, man.
Yeah, dude. That's big time.
Crazy. So, okay, you did the phone audit. Phones down if they're around. You're like, hey, man, I love you so much. Daddy's going to finish this, and then we're going to go do that thing. Or you catch yourself on your phone and you're like, you're right. I'm going to put this down now, and I'm all in with you. And I have these moments too. What about the fitness part? Like, how did you carve out time for that? And what did you determine with your wife was non-negotiable? How do you guys work together on deciding that? Because that's a challenging hurdle for people. It's like, I need to work out. And maybe she's like, well, I want to work out too. How did you guys do this?
Yeah, man. So in regards to fitness, I think there's a baseline that's a non-negotiable, but I think you'll know it kind of goes in waves. Like right now, I don't have time to like train for an Ironman or something like that. I am not the fittest that I could possibly be. If I went all in on fitness and neglected my family and my wife and my responsibilities, I could do anything, as could you. So I have kind of a baseline of how I want to perform and how I want to look. And I know, I can do that in like 4 or 5 hours a week. And I just need to put in that amount of time. And I've also had to be flexible about when I do it. I really like, man, I get up early and I like to knock out a little bit of work, like 4:45 in the morning. I get up and I pray and I read, I drink coffee, I work. And then like later in the day, like 10 a.m. is when I like to work out. And right now that's just not a reality for me. Some days I work out at 4:30 a.m. Sometimes it's at lunch. Sometimes it's in the evening. And if it's in the evening, I just bring my kids out there and we kind of hang out while I work out.
It's got to be variable. Yeah. And you found that. And I last year, my workouts were very much in the morning. Like, I'm going to get up at 4, crank this workout out, and then I get an hour of work, maybe an hour and a half before the kids wake up. And about last fall, I transitioned to the middle of the day. That's what was working better for us. And now middle of the day is great because now my wife's training again, and I can be like, cool, let me make you lunch while you're putting the kids down for quiet time. Here's food. Let's train together while they're resting, and then we can help each other get it in. So finding that variability and 4 to 5 hours a week for you.
And then for me too, man, it's like I don't play golf. I don't have a hobby like that. And so like for me, fitness is a little bit of my hobby. And so that kind of like scratches that itch for me as well. I think it's important for men to have something to pursue other than just their work. And for me, man, I really enjoy, I genuinely enjoy it. And so for me, that it's kind of killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think I enjoyed it when I first started working out, but I definitely enjoy it now, man. I love it. And I love getting my quad mace out and swinging that around. It's my
That
favorite thing.
sounds like fun.
It's heavy though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
heavy though. I couldn't start with that 25-pound mace. It would have like ripped my shoulders out.
I'll bet.
So yeah, how did you come to an agreement as to like sharing that time with your wife? I imagine that she's training too. How did you guys help each other carve this time out?
We have a very different relationship with fitness. I love it. My wife wants to be healthy. She wants to feel good and look good, and she wants to get it done in the least amount of time possible. So she stays fit basically by being very active. Like she goes and does with the kids a lot. They're very just physical activity, not necessarily exercise. And then she works out 2 days per week. Her is one. I give her a workout to do. She doesn't want to think about it. And bro, I even go out there and I set up the garage gym for her, like little stations for her, just so she can walk out there. She's got it on her phone. She knows what to do, and it's not an extra mental load for her. And so if I am home, I basically help watch the kids or whatever so she can go down there and do her thing. And we've got this like a little corral. It's called a toddler tuff. And it's and it's like a little playpen for kids. And so if she's got the youngest and I'm not there, she just takes him out there in the garage and he plays in there while she works out.
That's awesome. Yeah, my wife is following a similar program to what I'm on, but also she doesn't want to do it if she has to think about it as well. I don't even want to do it if I have to think about it. I don't want to have to design it. So I'll come out here and I'll look at percentages and be like, here's your weights for today. I'll set up the bar for you. I'll help you transition in between sets. And then we'll have my son out here who's 5 and he'll be running on the treadmill and then going to play, and he'll come back and we've got him a toddler bar, so he'll rip that.
Nice.
Like a kid's bar, so he'll rip that 5-pound bar and put like 20-40 pounds on and do some deadlifts with us. I'm like, yeah,
That's
way to go,
awesome,
man.
dude. I love
My
that.
daughter will come out and she'll lift little kettlebells and stuff. And so it sounds like similar thing in that you guys are encouraging each other and accommodating each other with time, as well as just making it as easy as possible.
Yeah. 100.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So what would be your advice for any guys who are either just coming to this the first time, they're like serious about starting to train again, or are just struggling with balancing it all? How do I find time to work out and still be successful, connected, engaged husband and father?
Yeah, man. I think you have to make some tough cuts, and you got to realize that you can't do it all. And it's like if you continue trying to do it all, something is going to get the majority of your focus. And say you've got 5 things going on and you're giving 20% to all of them. If you add a 6th, that changes the game a little bit. And so I think you almost have to look at things that you're doing, and if it's not serving you or your family, you got to cut it. And those are hard cuts. Sometimes it might be Netflix, it might be fantasy football, something along those lines. And you just got to really ask yourself, is this making me a better husband? Is it helping me hit my fitness goals, my finance goals, my spiritual goals? And if it's not, sometimes you got to take a hard look and figure out what you're going to cut.
Yeah. You got to be real about it.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be something that you want to cut.
Man,
not
and
always going to be that.
One of the things that's kind of trending right now, and I'm not like super anti-alcohol or anything like that, but I think it's like one of those things, if 3 nights a week you're going out with the boys to the bar and getting like wasted and stuff like that, that's an easy cut, right? You're wondering like, why am I not losing body fat, or why am I feeling so tired? It's kind of like one of those easy things, like, oh, maybe those friendships, we talk a lot about, iron sharpens iron, and putting yourself in some circles where the people are going in the direction that you're going. And then also if you've got some friends that maybe aren't going in your direction, think about those relationships, and hopefully you can encourage them to head in the direction that you're going.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, maybe you, instead of getting wasted at the bar, you get wasted at the gym. Barbells, a different kind of bar instead.
Big time.
Yeah. So walk us through. I'm curious. You're the alpha dad. What, and you're out doing your reps, walking up and down the street. And I miss your old hat, by the way. I miss that old hat. What got you into this, and what got you to the point where you're like, I don't mind. I'm actually excited to like show off how fit that I am. Why is it important to you?
So, it's funny, Rob, because people either love me or hate me. There's really nobody's moderate on me. Nobody's in the middle, right? But I started posting about it just to kind of be funny. I thought it was kind of silly. I was working out anyways, so I would do it. And man, I started getting like DMs from guys being like, "Hey man, I just want you to know you really motivated me to start hitting the gym again. Like I want to be stronger for my wife. I want to set a good example for my kids." Stuff like that. And that really wasn't my intention. I wish it was. Had started like as this altruistic type thing, but I just did it because it was funny. But when I started getting those DMs, I was like, man, I feel like men are kind of hungry right now to be strong again, to be fit, to set a good example for their kids, to be a better husband for their wives, to be more present. I think men are hungry for that. And I think if you can encourage a few people, as you're trying to level up yourself, man, that's kind of like the ultimate win.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were just playing around, posting your stuff, and you started to get these messages, and people were like, hey, thank you, because now I'm feeling motivated to come back in and work out again. It's the reluctant hero. It's the, I didn't choose this life. It chose me. And they pulled you in. You're like, yeah, yeah, okay. So, yeah, so walk us through Ben Barker Fitness, Alpha Dad. Walk us through why is fitness even important for us as dads? Why? I mean, it seems like an obvious thing.
Yeah.
But why, from your standpoint, why is it so important? Why is it the hill that you're standing on with your sword out right now? And where can we start?
Boy, I can think of about 10 different ways, so I'm going to try to be succinct here. But you can better serve your wife, your kids, and community if you have a higher level of fitness. I tell the story a lot, but when 2 years ago a really bad tornado hit my hometown, and we went out into the community and we were chopping down trees, we were carrying out stumps and stuff like that, and there was kind of a core group of about 10 dudes who were very, very fit, and everybody wanted them on their team because we could do more work in a shorter amount of time. And that's not like a bragging type thing. It's just a reality. When you're more fit, you're more useful when stuff hits the fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Jack Donovan talks about that in The Way of Men as well. Strength, courage, mastery, honor, the traits, the virtues of masculinity. And that is the thing. That strength is one of our most important like gifts that we have, but we can also neglect it and lose it. And then we can lose our usefulness. And I agree. People ask me to move stuff all the time. And I like being able, if something, what was it? Our dryer, no, it wasn't our dryer, our washing machine. I had to change the gasket on the inside because it was all moldy. And we have stacked washer and dryer. And I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do this, but I don't want to pay somebody for it. So I'm going to lift this dryer off myself and put it down on the ground. And that was the easy part. But then after I completed the repair, my wife, I was standing there looking at it. She's like, you're going to try and put it back up, aren't you? And I was like, why do I work out if I can't put this dryer up myself? And this thing's big. You can't really get your arms around it, but I'm accustomed to you lifting some natural stones out of my yard. And I was like, it's just a deadlift. Let me get down there and hug this thing. And first attempt failed. Second attempt, I was like, I just got to get the leverage better. And I got under it, pushed it up there, and I was like, this is why I do what I do. so that I can be useful. Instead of having to call somebody to help me, I can move this. And if a tree comes down, I can get out with my chainsaw and take care of it.
Yeah. And then just the practical, just like that, dude, the practicality of just random stuff around the house and being capable. And then, this dude, I'm surprised by it every time, but my 10-year-old son still loves to ride on my shoulders. And I know it's like one day he's going to be embarrassed by that. And he's getting bigger, he's getting taller, and it's a piece of cake for me to pick him up and throw him on my shoulders. And it's one of those things like, as a dad, you realize there's going to be like a last time that your son rides on your shoulders. And I'm just like, man, I'm strong enough to do it. And like anytime he asks or anytime I have the opportunity, like I'm going to do that. And like, what a shame, like if you didn't have like the stability or the strength, to throw a kid who's phasing out of childhood onto your shoulders,
Agreed. And we've got Tucky Boy, who he is probably 12 weeks old now. And then we've got my son, who's 4.5. We've got my daughter, who's going to be 2 in a month. I see this where it's like, I've got the baby. I can't pick you up. I have the baby. But like, no, come here. Like, let me hold. I can get all 3 of you in here if I have to. We probably don't want to do it. It's suboptimal, but I can hold all 3 of you if I need to. If like the 2 of you are melting down and I got the baby, I can hold you guys. You're not too heavy. I got you. And I think that's an important thing for us to be able to do. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. Oh, you're too heavy. I've seen that. And being able to throw your son on your back until that last piggyback ride comes. And at least you're able to do it. And anything that my son asks me, I want to be able to go out there and do it with him. And you brought up strength and conditioning, but I think it's also like flexibility and mobility as well. I've seen a lot of guys who are like, oh, I can't get down on the floor like that. Dad can't get back up like that, or help me up, which can be a game. But also when you're serious, you can't play with your kids as well. And that's something that they learn. I remember the stories of like, oh, my body doesn't work like it used to, or your body won't work like that. Just wait until you get older, or I have bad back, or I have bad knees. And my mom was watching my son and her knee was bothering her. And then for the next week, my son was like, ow, I can't, my knee. It's like, that's what happens with this stuff.
That's great. Bro, and I feel like too, I'm obviously not a medical doctor, but there's this thing going around that talks about, like if a guy has a heart attack at 55, the problem didn't occur at 55. It started when he was 30. And so how our knees are going to feel when we're 55, how clogged our arteries are, dementia, Alzheimer's, like a lot of that, some things you can't control, but to a degree, what we're doing now in our 30s and 40s is going to make a difference how we live in our 60s and 70s. And I think a lot about, wanting to be active with my grandkids and also not being a burden on my children one day. And I think how we're training in our 30s and 40s is going to have a massive impact on how we live in our 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something that's really easy to overlook. And so training in our 30s and 40s, I imagine that's a little bit different than how we might in our 20s.
Yeah. Agreed.
Maybe a little bit different.
Yeah. And then to your credit too, on the whole mobility thing, I saw something recently. So I just turned 34 and I can't remember the exact other numbers, but it was like the biggest decline in like male physical performance. There's 3 in your lifetime, and one of them happens at 34. I can't remember the other 2 ages. One of them was like maybe like 55, and the other was like, 72 or something like that. And bro, I don't know if it's been a mental thing, but just mobility wise, I've done a couple things recently and I've been like, that didn't used to be as challenging as that felt now. And so it's prompted me to be like, man, it's something you need to take seriously. I remember in school, Rob, it was something like once you turn 35, your flexibility, if you're not working on it, decreases by like 0.7% per year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but over the course of 10 years, that's 7% decrease. And so to your credit, man, I think mobility is one of those things that we need to be working on. That's one of those things, like you said, it's practical, getting in the floor with our kids and one day our grandkids.
Yeah, it's so easy to overlook. Not even just overlook, but it's so easy to just skip when we have all these other things going on. So, Ben, where do we start? Where do we start?
Bro, and it's like I love how walking is getting such a comeback right
Mhm.
now, like it never went anywhere, but everybody's talking about it right now. And that's how my dad started. My dad lost 130 pounds. Not like he had like a wealth of knowledge at his fingertips, but it was like, I think I almost like overloaded him. And so he was like, I'm just going to start walking and eating less. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
so almost like
these two things.
frustratingly simple, and the dude just like a rocket, dude, just started dropping weight, feeling better, looking better. And so I think it's the same for us, man. It's like Google is almost like our worst enemy in Chat GPT. It's like, oh man, let me go like research and find like the most optimal plan, the most optimal diet. And I'm like, bro, it's kind of like, if you want to work on your marriage, like talk to your wife, do nice things for her, serve her. It's like sometimes like the most simple things. And I think it's the same with fitness, bro. It's like find something that you don't hate, do it consistently, and then you can add as you go. You don't have to worry about getting super fancy, but walking, push-ups, squats, sit-ups, Superman holds would take you an incredibly long way, and then doing something to address your diet, and you would see massive results just from those few things.
Yeah, it's amazing with what some body weight stuff, some calisthenics will do for you. And I think last summer you were doing lots of sprint intervals, but it doesn't take a lot of time. Little bit of sprinting, stuff will go a long way. And then the food, so eating a little bit less, but what have you found to be really effective on the food front for you, but also the guys that come to you?
Man, I think this is, again, simple, but for me personally, like I've always been trying to like put on a little bit of muscle mass. I've always kind of struggled to gain weight, and what you track improves, right? I know people have mixed feelings now on tracking calories and stuff like that. But if you don't track something, it's kind of like if you're going under financially and you're not tracking your finances, they're probably not going to improve. But if you start paying attention, like, oh, I'm spending this much on streaming services and this much on that, and I need to earn more here, like your finances are going to improve. And I think it's the same with nutrition. For me, it's protein. I think I was chronically not eating enough because I was just assuming I was eating enough protein, right? And so I started tracking it, and it's been slow, but I've gradually started seeing some progress because I track it consistently and I know that I'm hitting those numbers. I'm not guessing. And with weight loss, you know this, dude. It's like people are like, yeah, man, I'm only eating like 1,900 calories a day. I'm guesstimating how much I'm eating when in fact, they're eating like 29 or 3,500
Yeah.
calories a day.
Yeah, for sure. Those things can be so sneaky too. Things you just pop in your mouth and you eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, tracking both in the food standpoint, the fitness standpoint, and like you talked about the finances standpoint. Life changing for me. The finances one was the one that it took me the longest to get to, but it's so important because then once you shine the flashlight on it, well, then you can see it,
Yep.
and then you can determine what it is that you need to do with it. So protein intake. What have you found that's been effective for you, as well as the guys that are in your community?
Always, I just a gram per pound. It's
Mhm.
it's easy to track. It makes it simple. I get asked a lot for guys. So maybe you have somebody who's severely overweight. I think then you can get into some percentages and stuff like that. I know a lot of people like say you've got 100 pounds to lose, right? And maybe you're 350 pounds. 350 grams of protein would be a challenge
Crazy.
to get in a day. And so I've always heard a good method there, and I've had guys do this, is going with your goal weight in protein. So maybe you're 300 pounds, you want to weigh 200. aim for 200 grams of protein a day or something to that effect. But if you're a healthy weight, aiming for a gram of protein per pound of body weight per day is just simple. It's easy to track. And it's just a good goal.
Mm-hmm. How are you? So that's like 190 grams of protein. How are you getting all that protein?
Man, so I think first off, don't go down the road of doing it all through supplements. I think a lot of guys like, oh, I have like 3 protein shakes a day, a couple bars and stuff. Gastrointestinally, that's not going to be a great move for you, and your wife probably isn't going to appreciate it either. Man, I have 4 eggs every day for breakfast. For lunch, I'll usually just try to have like a big serving of protein, like something like 5 or 6 ounces of like chicken breast. Like, I'm not perfect. I'll just throw it out there. Sometimes it's like a nitrate free lunch meat, something like that. Sometimes I'll do more eggs. Sometimes it'll be a combination of meat and cheese. And then for dinner, dude, massive hunk of protein. I try to get like 8 ounces of either beef or chicken. I have 1 protein bar a day. It's like if you go to Costco, they have a knockoff of the Quest bar. That's pretty good. And then I always have a protein shake post workout. And that usually gets me, I'm 175 pounds. That gets me to my 175.
Yeah. So you've got your 3 square meals with a good dosage of protein in each one. And then you've got that bar for a snack. You've got your shake post workout as well. Not too crazy.
It's not
too
and
crazy.
I forgot to mention the protein. I do like protein sludge before bed sometimes. Sounds gross.
What is that?
It's just Greek yogurt. I get plain Greek yogurt and I put like a 1/3 scoop of protein powder in it. So like a half cup of Greek yogurt is 12 grams of protein. And then a 1/3 scoop of my protein is 8 grams of protein. So, and you just stir it up in a bowl. It's 20 grams of protein. And for those who really like to geek out, dairy products, especially Greek yogurt, is casein protein, which supposedly takes longer to break down in the body. So you're not putting yourself in a catabolic state while you're sleeping.
Awesome. Awesome. That's doable. We can do that.
Yeah, we can.
All right, man. We're coming close to time here. We got a couple minutes left, and then we're gonna get you out of here and transition into our next thing here. But so I imagine everybody listening already knows who you are, but sometimes there's people that don't. So walk us through, like, how can we get to you? How do we find you? And what can we get involved in with you?
I'm basically everywhere, Rob, on social media, Ben Barker Fitness. Probably most active on Instagram, but also YouTube and TikTok, Twitter, and Threads. And I actually just launched. I had launched my workout program on my website like 2 years ago, and I just bootstrapped it and built it myself. The workouts were great. The functionality of the website was not so hot. And so I transitioned over to Train Heroic. And so I have a workout program on there. If people wanted to check that out, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yes. Send us that link. I'll put that in the notes as well. And it sounds like you did do you know John Wellborn with Power Athlete?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. It sounds like the CrossFit football thing. They used to have it on the website, and it was cool, but it was so messy. And then they switched to Train Heroic, and now they have like 6 different programs.
Nice.
And I'm always looking at them like, I could do Field Strong again.
Yeah, right.
I could do that.
Let's
That'd be fun. So yeah, Train Heroic is awesome too. And do you have the daily readiness questionnaire activated?
Yes, I do.
You can.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because you guys, when you go into Ben's workouts, you'll also be able to do more than just your fitness. It's going to ask you, like, what's your mood? What's your soreness level? How'd you sleep? How's your stress? All of that stuff, so that you can track that over time. And that's so important for your readiness and how hard you're able to push with workouts and all that stuff too.
Big time.
Awesome, man. Final thing is, we'll do the Tim Ferriss here. If you had a billboard anywhere, and let's just say like 50% of the world's men could see it, and you could put one message on there, short or long, what would you put on there?
Train with your kids.
Awesome. Train with your kids, man.
Sometimes it makes it a little bit more challenging, but I've never regretted it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My son, I rarely set him up to do something. He just watches me, and then he comes in and he's like, I'm going to do deadlifts.
Yep.
Or he'll start doing random burpees and push-ups. And he just started doing push-ups in the middle of my workout the other day and was like, I'm going to do push-ups with you. Train with your kids. They pick it up. I think it's James Baldwin that said, children have never been good at listening to their elders, but they've never failed to repeat them.
Yeah, dude, that's good.
Train with your kids, man. All right. Anything else that we missed, Ben?
I'm big on giving people their flowers. I complimented you for being jacked earlier, but two more things. You have a great voice and your beard is looking very plump.
Thank you. I got to go see my guy CJ and have him clean me up a little bit.
Let's go.
I got my Viking braid in right now.
That's tight.
That's the thing. Yeah. I appreciate that. And that's it. Thanks for being here, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Appreciate you. And I'll see you on your podcast soon.
Let's do
All
it.
right, brother. Have an amazing day.
Bud.
Peace.